Hey, all you Cinebites out there, it's Joey. So we're going to be trying something new today. We're going to actually be covering a movie that's still currently in theaters. It's the 2023 Barbie movie. We went to see it. We liked it so much. We just thought, hey, we're going to do a podcast on it. So Devil Wears Prada will be coming out the week after this one. We're going to push that back a week. There will be major spoilers for the movie. So if you haven't seen Barbie yet, please turn this off. Go see the movie, because it's really good, and then come back and listen to the podcast. All right, here's the show.
You haven't seen it.
No way. You're out of order.
Ah, you're killing me, Smalls.
Fasten your seatbelts.
You're tearing me apart.
Houston, we have a problem.
What we've got here is failure.
Conceivable. God damn you all to hell.
Hello and welcome to
We haven't seen it.
The podcast where we force ourselves to go to a movie theater and watch a movie that we've never seen before. I'm your host, Joey.
And I'm the genital-having wife who is also a mother, but those are not my only qualities. Aaron.
Okay, so you have genitals and you visit the gynecologist.
I do, and I also have other qualities about me besides being a woman.
Oh.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm a teacher and an artist. That's about it.
Yeah. And, also, not every woman is a mother. So
True.
that is a defining quality that you have.
It is.
That not every woman has.
Yeah. But, we'll talk about it in the movie, but in the movie, there's a big thing about, kids were, at the very beginning, little girls were only allowed to be, to have baby dolls, and they were only allowed to be mothers. And that was, a big defining, women were always told, oh, you're going to be a mother, you're going to be a mother, you're going to be a mother.
Back when Barbie first got started, there was, three things you could do if you were a woman. Mm-hmm. You could be a mother, a husband, a nurse, a school teacher, or a secretary.
You could be a husband?
I mean, a wife to a husband. You could get a husband.
Yeah, you could be a mother, a wife, a nurse, a nun.
Oh, you could be a nun.
And they're also called mother.
I thought sister.
They're also Mother Teresa.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So.
Okay. You're the Catholic person here, so I don't know why I'm questioning you. So we're going to do something a little different today, again.
Woo!
And we're going to do kitty corner reviews with our 8-year-old daughter, Miss Joliet.
Do, 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 kitty corner. Do, 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 kitty corner.
Hi, my name is Joliet. I'm super excited, and I haven't even done this, but this is my first time. I'm so excited!
Okay, Joliet. So you just saw Barbie. Tell us what you thought.
Hilarious. That's all I think.
That's all you think?
Yeah, it's just hilarious. I can't even think.
What was your favorite part about the movie?
I love so there's this part where Barbie says and then Ken tells him he's Ken, and then he's like, Ken is me, and it's just weird. And then she was going, and then he had this rainbow sweater that says, I'm Keno.
Kenough.
Or however you say it.
He's enough, but he's Kenough.
Right. So
Did you get that?
Not at all.
Joliet, so at the beginning of the movie, Barbie lives in this perfect world, right?
Yes, it's perfect.
And at the end of the movie, she has to decide whether she wants to live in the perfect Barbie world or she wants to join the real world with human people. What did you think about that?
I love when she's chooses. So there's this crazy weird Barbie, and she's heel or flip flop. Do you want to still be in the Barbie world or see what it's like in the real world? Real world? We're in.
Yeah.
And so she like chooses the like heel, and she's like, no, try it again. She's like, she has to do the one with the flip flop.
The Birkenstock.
Yeah.
But I think Daddy's asking about the very, very end when she has to make the decision on whether to become a real person or to stay a Barbie. What does she choose at the end?
Real.
She chooses the real world. What do you think of that decision? Do you think that was a good decision? Do you think that was a bad decision?
It's like, I don't really know. It's like a maybe decision.
Like a maybe decision?
Yeah.
So you would have been happy for her either way.
Yep.
Oh, that's very nice of you.
It's very sweet.
So did you get the reference with the two different shoes from The Matrix?
Yeah.
One was the red pill and one was the blue pill.
She's never seen that, so.
Yeah. Did you? Aaron?
You haven't seen it? I did not register that until you just said it.
All right. And what did you think of Ken's arc? Did you think he was good the whole movie?
Yeah, he was pretty good. He there's this Barbie TV show where he just like has like a word with Barbie and Barbie senses. And he's like, anytime Barbie's in trouble, he's like, put his finger to his mind and he's like, Barbie needs help. I'm coming, Barbie.
Oh, that's from Barbie Life in the Dream House.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about that. And then like when it's in the movie, Ken had his own whole entire story.
Yeah, he did. Did you like his story?
It was pretty. Yeah.
And what
It
did
was
you think?
beautiful. I was about to cry.
What did you think about him and Barbie not being together at the end of the movie? Like they weren't in love at the end. Did you like that?
I don't know.
You don't know?
It's confusing. Like in the Life in the Dream House, they're just like overreacting, and then like Ken is with an enemy with Ryan. If you want to see that TV show, it's hilarious.
It is hilarious. Even Mommy and Daddy like it.
Do you think it was fair for Ken to take over Barbie's house?
Nope, not at all. Cause he takes Barbie World into Kingdom, which is like Kingdom, but it can.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you think that was wrong of him to do, to turn Barbie World into Kingdom?
Yeah.
And turn all the hhouses into Casa Dojo something.
Mojo Dojo Casa House.
Yeah, Mojo Dojo Casa House.
It's like, I think he's like Mojo Dojo. He's from.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think that it was okay for Barbie to kind of ignore Ken in the beginning?
I don't know.
No, because a lot of times I think Ken would have been okay with living in a Barbie world if maybe Barbie gave him a little attention and didn't step all over him sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's trying to find a job at the beach. Then he's talking to a lifeguard, and then he says, "No, I'm not a lifeguard. I don't do any job, but at the beach, I beach." And I just stand right here and watch people, and I'm not even gonna go in the water.
Yeah. And then he said, well, people don't get hurt on the beach. And he goes, well, good thing, because I'm not even qualified to save them. So he has no qualifications.
A job. He's just beach.
Yeah.
He just like lays down on the beach and just watches.
Because everyone narrowed Ken down to just one aspect.
Okay, Joey, you know how every Barbie in the movie was like stereotypical Barbie, President Barbie, airline
Barbies
Barbie.
that were like really old and back in time.
Yeah. What Barbie do you think you would be?
The president.
The
You'd
President,
be the
Barbie?
Barbie?
No. I want to be the crazy Barbie, the weird Barbie.
No, not the Barbie from the movie. Like, what about you? What kind of Barbie would you be? Sorry. Like, I would be Mechanic Ken because
Yeah,
I'm a mechanic. So
he
what
would-
would you be?
I would be a
But that's a
ballet
job.
Barbie.
You'd be
a ballet Chelsea.
Oh, you'd be a ballet Chelsea. because you're younger.
Yeah.
Was Skipper in the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, she had she was a skipper that was taken off the shelves. What is it? Discontinued because
that's
you lifted
right.
her arm and her boobs grew, which is actually a Barbie.
Pubescent Barbie or whatever.
Yeah.
Skipper. I
Wait.
mean. All right, Julie. Is there anything else that you want to say about the movie?
Do you think people should see the movie?
Of course.
What is it? Your favorite movie that you've seen so far, or what is your favorite movie?
I like a lot of movies, but I think it should be Puss in Boots
Puss in Boots.
and The Last Wish. That one was hilarious. I just sit down on your shoulder and I judge your decisions.
You really like that cricket character, huh?
Yeah.
Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Okay, well, that's going to do it for our first ever Kitty Corner. Thank you for coming on, Joliet.
Do 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 kitty corner. Do 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 kitty corner.
Bye-bye.
We're going to do, I guess, sort of a break-in format, and we're going to talk about a movie that is currently in theaters. When this gets released, it'll only have been out for maybe 14 days or something?
Yeah, it's been it got released on July 21st.
Yeah.
Of 2023. So if you're watching this in the future, it's further along, but it was released July 21st, 2023, and we watched it a week after.
Yeah,
a week and a day after it was recorded.
Its second weekend in theaters, we went to see it. And if you haven't seen it and you want to see it, please stop listening to this and go see it, because you do not want to have this movie spoiled for you.
Absolutely not.
It really, really, really subverts every expectation you have. Like, every time I thought I had the movie figured out, it was like, nope, that's not what you're seeing right now.
Yeah,
It was truly a fantastic.
I also, when I would scroll on social media, I would see so many things, and every time I saw anything that they would say, but I would go, nope, and I would skip past it because I was like, I'm not going to spoil this movie for myself by other people spoiling things about the movie. So I saw things about Ken and their jobs, but that was the only thing I saw.
Right.
But I didn't really understand it. I mean, I understood it because all Kens have the beach.
Yeah. Well, I can tell
Beach
you
Ken.
what I thought at first when I was initially finding out about the movie and reading about it, was it said Barbie goes to the real world. I'm like, oh, it's going to be a fish out of water comedy, which I love. I love fish out of water comedy. So it's going to be like that 90s Brady Bunch movie where it's the Brady Bunch, but they're in the 90s world.
Yeah.
And that movie is stupid.
Yeah.
It's funny. I do enjoy watching it, but it's not very good.
Yeah, the movie it takes a lot of turns, and it changes on you, and you expect it to be one way, and then it changes, and it's fantastic in that way.
Yeah, and it doesn't really. You might think that because it takes a lot of left turns that it doesn't stay with its original theme and premise. It does. It sticks to it. It just does it in a way that you wouldn't expect a movie like this to be.
Yeah.
A lot of movies like this will have 13 writers credit on it or something like that. I think the Sonic movie, the first one, had 13 different writers credited on it. And there were some other writers who I know worked on the movie who weren't credited because enough of their work didn't make it into the movie for them to technically get credit.
Oh.
So that movie turned out okay, but usually when you have that many writers on something, it turns out terrible.
Yeah. But there were a lot on this movie?
No, there was only 2 writers.
Oh, okay.
Greta Gerwig and
her fiance?
I don't know
or her
if
boyfriend. It's a significant other.
Oh,
of hers.
okay. Noah Baumbach, which he's done some other movies, but they worked on it together as a writing team, and they did a fantastic job.
Yeah. The movie has a lot. Oh my gosh, Google, I love it. When you Google Barbie, it has
Pink fireworks.
pink fireworks, and the screen turns a pinkish color. That's fantastic. Thank you, Google. But the movie has a lot of political undertones.
Social commentary.
Social commentary. That's the better way to say it, because it's not really political.
No.
It's all about social commentary.
But it's not preachy either.
It's not. It does it in a way that's very subtle, and it doesn't like force it in your face, but you think about it and you're like, you know what? Ken is every single woman in Hollywood. They're always playing these characters that are just one-dimensional accessories to the male character.
Yeah, it flips a lot of stereotypes on their head, and it brings up some really real stuff. Like for me, at the end of the movie, I know I'm skipping ahead, but like Ken is saying like, once I found out the patriarch didn't have a bunch of horses, I lost interest. And like, he's like, it's hard to make all the decisions. It's terrible and all that. I'm like,
yeah,
it's true. Like people don't understand. Like we don't really like being the patriarchy. It's a lot of work. It's hard. You know, like that's why men die younger. We have higher suicide rates, higher alcoholism rates, is because we have so much stress of like society on us. I don't think people really understand that. Like the patriarchy is not a good thing for men either.
Yeah, definitely not. But it's still perpetuated.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again.
Yeah. It's terrible for everybody.
Yeah.
And I think that movie really points that out. And I think Greta Gerwig and like having a male and female writer on this script who probably know each other pretty well since they're together, like you said. They probably like were able to flesh this out.
Yeah. Well, I think that there are a lot of people, because there's a lot of political backlash. There's a lot of people saying like this movie was misogynistic and blah, blah, blah about all of these
those
things.
are just like those conservative commentators.
Yes. But what I'm saying is the movie, if you literally sat there and thought about it, it's literally saying the patriarchy sucks for everybody. So stop doing the patriarchy, because the patriarchy is like, Ken is looked at as an accessory, and all the Kens feel lesser than, and they feel pushed aside and ignored. And that's a lot of that. Most women feel that way in society, and flipping it on its head, like, at the end, whenever he's like, it was a lot of stress. There was a lot of stuff to do. I didn't like it. It tells you the patriarchy sucks every way you do it. Equality is really what's going to take that burden off of the shoulders of all of the higher ups, and giving that opportunity to the people that aren't given that opportunity is what should be happening.
Yeah. And also it had a lot of stuff about like it not being allowed to be an individual as a woman. Like they call weird Barbie weird, even though she's different, but they have to exclude her. She lives far away from everybody, and everybody even has the same name in Barbie world. Everybody's hi Barbie, hi Barbie, hi Barbie. It's like you're not allowed to be an individual. So there's a lot of that in the movie, and I thought that was really, because you know, like in society we're like, you have terms like basic bitch and stuff like that. It's like, oh, you're just
pumpkin spice bitch.
Yeah, pumpkin spice. But you know what I mean? Like you're not allowed to stand out as a woman. And if you try to, you get called something else. It's like you can never be right as a woman. There's such a fine line that you have to walk.
Oh, absolutely.
Like either, and they mention it in the movie too about like,
America Ferrera. Her part is literally the change that happens to show like women have all of these things in society. Like the patriarchy that you felt, Barbie, when you were in the real world is what I feel every second of every single day. And there's no way to win. I don't know what I was going with that.
I don't know. But also this movie, it doesn't really have a clear message, which is good, because I always say like you shouldn't send a message with a movie, but
There's lots of things you can take from it.
Yeah, there's tons of things that you can take from it, and like everything, like it feels truthful. It's like, yeah, she's right.
Yeah.
Like you're either a prude or a slut. Like there's no middle ground, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I feel like that's probably one of the worst things about being a woman from an outsider looking in is like you can just never be right.
Yeah.
You have to walk such a fine line,
Mm-hmm.
and it just doesn't matter. It's
Yeah.
mm-hmm. All right. Well, enough of feminism podcast here. What were your overall thoughts? Oh, wait. You know what? I want to ask you. What is your background with Barbie?
My background with Barbie. I played with Barbies. Oh my God. Until I was like 15. I loved Barbies. I had so many Barbies. Every time I went to Walmart, I always asked my mom for a Barbie doll. My mom never like looked at the Barbie and was like, oh, well, she doesn't, she exudes, what is it called? She's like a sex object, because that's what people think.
Oh, I don't know.
People think, there's people that are like, oh, well, there's unrealistic ideals that Barbie sends out to everyone. And it's like, she's not, the body and the shape of everything is, I think she was just trying to go with like a fashion-esque kind of doll. And so I loved playing up with the fashion. That was my favorite part.
I think the biggest gripe that people have against Barbie is that like just unrealistic body proportions. Which,
True.
If you look at some of the older Barbie dolls, you're like, yeah, it's really bad. Like 12-inch waist and like a 36-inch bust, like super long legs. It's like, no, women don't look like that.
Yeah. Well, I think they were trying to go with like, the body shape is very similar to a Marilyn Monroe kind of figure, but with like a fashion model's kind of like height. So it's kind of mixing like her. I'm not Ruth. I don't know what she was thinking exactly with her design and everything, but the doll's proportions. My mom was never about like, oh, like you shouldn't play with Barbie dolls. My mom loved that I played. It was totally fine with me playing with Barbie dolls. My brother and I play with Barbie dolls together.
Yeah, I know about
because I have my oldest brother. He's gay. That's not the only thing about him, but he's
gay, Ken.
he and I used to play with Barbie dolls all the time because he would mostly play with My Little Pony, but we also play with Barbie dolls because I liked Barbie dolls and I loved playing up with fashion. I would I would always make the weird Barbies. Every single one of my Barbies was a weird Barbie after a while.
Yeah.
Every single one. And if I go in my daughter's room and I grab her Barbies, they all have all their hair. I'm very surprised by that.
No, they don't. Some of them she did cut.
Well, some of them a little bit, but not in the way that I did. I really fucked up my Barbie dolls. But I always loved playing with my Barbie dolls. And I would also make them have sex.
Yeah, I know. I
all
did that.
The time.
I did that with my sister's Barbie dolls. I played with my sister's Barbie dolls, and like I did the weird Barbie thing on them when she was done with them.
Yeah.
You know? And I played with her a little bit too, I'm sure. But probably not to the extent that you and Matt played Barbies together.
No, but I would even go to my neighbor's house, and my neighbor had a little sister that was like 4 years younger than me. And the reason I played with Barbie dolls so long was because I would play with her little sister. Cause her, like my neighbor she's not even my neighbor. She lived down the road from me cause I lived out in the country. But the people that lived pretty close to me, there was a kid that was my age, one that was a year younger, and then one that was like maybe she was 3 years younger than me. But when I was, when the one that was my age was done playing Barbies, I would go play with her younger cousin, the one that was a year younger. And then when she was done, I went and played Barbies with the youngest one. So I played with Barbies a long time because I really liked them. And I also played with Bratz.
Oh, I remember Bratz. Yeah. So what would you say like the lasting legacy of Barbie on you was? How do you think Barbie's like changed or didn't change your life or like your view on the world? Do you think it would have been any different had you not had Barbies? Or do you think, like, Barbies bestowed something upon you?
I never thought about, like, all the careers that Barbie had. I never really got career kind of Barbies. I never wanted them. I always wanted the fashion ones.
Okay.
So, not really. Not for me personally, but I bet it did for a bunch of kids.
You think so?
Yeah, I bet there were some kids that were like, oh my gosh, there's literally when they brought out Black Hispanic Barbies that were doing things like being astronauts or being doctors and things like that. I bet there were some kids that were like, look, Barbie can do it. Like, this is Barbie. Like, they're making Barbies like this. Why can't I be a doctor?
No. Maybe, because I know there's a lot of women in your family. So do you think you just had enough positive female role models in your life that maybe you just saw Barbie as just a doll?
Well, I mean, most of the women in my life were mothers, and that was it. They don't, there was only, I had like an aunt that had she was a nurse that had a career. Most of my other aunts, and my mom were moms, and they would have like small little jobs. One of my aunts, she kind of owned a business with her husband, but like all of my other aunts, I mean, I can't think of their careers. They were all just women. They were strong women. Like, they were confident women. They were good women, but they weren't like high fields or like STEM or anything like that.
Well, that doesn't mean that they're not good role models.
Yeah, they were great role models.
I'm just saying, like, maybe you didn't need to look to your doll to be a role model.
True. Yeah.
Because I think people put a little bit too much weight on the influence Barbie had on girls over the years.
Yeah, and I think that was played up in the movie too. Like, she came to the real world and was like, "I'm Barbie. I've done all these things for you," because that's what everyone, like, that's what the narrative of Barbie is being a role model. But most kids, I don't think, used her as a role model. She was a doll.
Yeah.
She was something to play with. She was something to enjoy. But I do feel like she did impact some people, but I don't think she impacted nearly as many.
Because that's what every time there's a controversy around the Barbie doll, I always think to myself, is like, really? Do you people really think she had that much influence on girls? Like, I think the media had such worse influence. Like, TV shows that young girls would watch had done a way worse number on them than like any doll ever has. And I'm glad that they changed the body proportions, because that's the right thing to do.
But I think also there's been a lot of like, Barbie has always been in the media. And so I think also if we didn't have Barbie, like, all of the controversies that Barbie brought up wouldn't have been necessarily talked about as early as they were if Barbie wasn't around.
Right.
Like, I remember when Barbie and Ken weren't together anymore. Like, they weren't a couple.
Uh-huh.
I literally cried. I remember that day, and I was like, what? Like, Barbie and Ken, like, how, like, they're a couple. And because it's always put in my head that they need to be
how are they not together? Did they not come in the same box or something? Or
so, I mean, no, they've never, I mean, there might be like a one or two that they came in the same box, but Barbie and Ken, like, initially were like, Barbie was made, and then they made Ken to be her boyfriend.
Right, I understand.
And then I don't remember what year it was, but there was like this news article I heard about, and it was like, Barbie and Ken broke up. And I was like, what? Why? And I was like, so she's just single now? And I was like, thinking back now on it, because I was younger. I was probably in high school when that happened or something. But thinking back on it, it's like, that's so empowering to like not need, like, I don't need Ken.
Right.
He's like a good friend of mine. Like, I like having him around. He's a good guy. but I don't need him. Like Barbie doesn't need him.
Yeah,
and
that was a big part of this movie as well.
Exactly, yeah. And I loved and I appreciate that they didn't make that a big love story. Like Ken, of course, is like every glance that Barbie gives to me, like I exist because of Barbie.
Uh-huh.
And like a lot of women feel like that towards men. Because if women aren't looked at by men, then they're completely ignored in society.
Yeah, there was some movie we were talking about that I can't remember now, but we kept saying like, oh, in this era, in this world, you are defined by what man you're attached to.
Yeah.
And it's true. It's not as much true as it is now because women can do just about anything. They just have to face a lot of discrimination. But there was a time where you couldn't get a credit card unless your husband said it was okay.
Yeah.
You know, there's always been crazy stuff like that. But back to Barbie. I do love that Barbie exists because it's always been controversial.
Yeah.
I watched there's a thing on Netflix called The Toys That Made Us, and I watched the one on Barbie, and I watched this like a year and a half ago, so I don't remember a lot. Mm-hmm. But it was saying like even when the doll was brand spanking new, it was controversial.
Yeah.
Because it was a doll with breasts. It was a grown woman doll with breasts, and a lot of moms didn't want their daughters to play with it. And I was like, wow, Barbie's always been this thing that has caused our society to have conversations.
Yes.
And this movie is going to be no different. Mm-hmm. And like, I like the conservatives trying to villainize it because they're just giving it more and more publicity.
Yeah.
It's like, go ahead, do whatever. I would love to see when the debates for the presidential elections start to happen, if there's one around Barbie, that would just make my day.
Oh my gosh, that would be fantastic. It was in 2004 in February when Mattel announced a split between Barbie and Ken.
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah. So how old was I? I was 11 years old.
Oh, wow.
So and I was still playing with Barbie dolls. So it was a big impact to me. There were some Barbie and Kens that came together because I remember one time I asked my dad for a Barbie and Ken doll. I was like, I want a Barbie and I want two Barbies, a boy and girl Barbie. Because that's what I would call them, boy and girl Barbie. In the same package. Because they had some that that one year that they came together. And my cousin asked for the same thing from her dad. And there were two girls. It was Angela. And her dad bought both of them the correct doll. And my dad bought a baby doll, a boy baby doll and a girl baby doll together in the same package. And I was like, what? I told you I wanted two Barbie dolls.
But did you not, you didn't say
I was so
Barbie?
mad.
I
said Barbie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you said
mad.
You wanted a girl and a boy Barbie is what you said.
Yeah, I wanted a boy and a girl Barbie.
Yeah. Huh.
Because I didn't call them dolls. I called them Barbies.
No, you can't trust dad with something like that.
Mm-mm.
There's no way.
Well, clearly you could trust my cousin's dad because he understood the assignment.
You can't trust your dad. No, there's no way I could trust my dad. I think I remember. Feel like there's only 2 times my dad's ever bought me any gift, and they were just gifts that he wanted. So.
Yeah.
He bought me some sort of weird airplane thing when I was a kid, but I knew it was something that he would have wanted when he was a kid, but I had no interest in.
Yeah. Anyways, do you want to get into the movie, or we want to just keep talking about? Because I'm enjoying just talking about.
Oh, we can do both. We can. We'll talk about the movie, but if something comes up,
okay,
then please.
Cool.
Because this is the whole Barbie thing is a girl thing, and then this movie is it's an everybody movie, but it's definitely more for women than I would
absolutely.
say. Women and girls than men. And it's PG-13 too. Mm-hmm. So this isn't supposed to be for little girls. No,
it's not for little girls, but it's not super inappropriate. Our 8-year-old went and saw it and enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
There's some references to genitals, but everyone knows Barbies and Kens don't have genitals. Yes.
Yeah, you can't make a self-aware satirical movie about Barbie and not have a joke about genitals.
Yeah,
You just
exactly.
can't do it. But it's good. Like all the sort of, I guess, quote unquote, raunchy jokes are so soft and so disguised
Yeah.
that your kid is not going to know.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid and I went to see Wayne's World. I was 8 years old, and when I saw Wayne's World, but there's a bunch of raunchy jokes in
Yeah.
there, but they're so well disguised. Like, like the when they're ordering Chinese food, Wayne goes, "I'll have the cream up some young guy."
Yeah.
You know that joke?
Yeah.
I didn't get that for years, for years and years.
I never saw that movie until I was an adult. So
Oh, okay, but I saw that when I was 8, and then I would watch it all the time because I loved it. And I was probably like 13 before I finally got that show.
yeah. Just so
Okay.
you know, I do get the joke.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
but I didn't because I was 8.
Yeah.
Okay. So Barbie begins, it fades up, and I love this so much. It was a parody of, or homage, whatever you want to call it, of 2001 Space Odyssey. Remember I
Yes.
showed you the clip of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great and it's super well done, and it's not nearly as drawn out as 2001.
Also, whose voice is that over the thing?
Helen Mirren,
Who's that?
a famous actor. But I don't think she's been knighted yet. But anyway, so you have these girls and
Okay.
they're playing with dolls. They're playing with the baby dolls, and then the monolith appears. And it's Barbie, like
Yeah.
classic swimsuit Barbie.
The first original Barbie.
Yeah. So then the little girls turn on their
They're porcelain dolls.
Yeah.
They're porcelain baby dolls. And the whole beginning sequence, it's talking about how little girls could only be mothers, and that was fun at first, but like that's all you get to do. And like there's little girls like ironing little baby clothes and like
Yeah.
cleaning, and it's like, yeah, because being a mom can suck, and pretending just be a mom can get old real quick.
Yeah. And I mean, who wants to be defined by one thing,
Exactly.
right? So they all take their little dolls and they start smashing them. in
Yeah, when Barbie
revolt.
comes up.
And then one girl throws her doll up in the air. And in 2001 Space Odyssey, it's like a bone, and it turns into a spaceship. But in this, she throws a doll up in the air and it turns into the Barbie logo.
Yeah.
And then the music kicks in and it's Lizzo, I think.
Yeah, it's a new Lizzo song, and she's narrating everything that's happening,
Yeah.
which I thought was fantastic, because the next day when things don't go right, she's narrating the things that aren't going right.
Yeah.
So they
And
did
it's in song too. It's
Yeah,
not like
it's
she's
hilarious.
not just talking; she's singing what's
she's
happening,
narrating.
and it was great. And we're Lizzo fans,
Yes,
so
absolutely.
I kind of right away.
Houston!
Yeah, she's from Houston, but like so I kind of reckon I'm pretty sure that's Lizzo.
Oh yeah. Immediately whenever she started, I was like, Lizzo, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so we're seeing Barbie in the Barbie world, and everything's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
She gets out of bed, she takes a shower with no water.
Yeah.
She makes toast.
She drinks milk, but doesn't actually have anything in her cup or anything.
Yeah,
I
And,
loved that. The whole beginning sequence is every kid's playing with Barbies.
yes,
Like they're taking a shower, and then they push the water and like, ooh, it's so cozy, and there's no water coming out.
yeah,
The
they are literal dolls.
yeah, and
In a doll
I
world.
absolutely loved that they made her literal dolls.
Yeah.
They did not make them like humanoid dolls that are living in this Barbie world. They are literal Barbies.
Yeah. But Barbie's feet are in constant high heel mode, no matter what.
She takes off her high heels and they're still up in the high heel
Yeah.
arch.
And she's going around, she's saying hi to all the Barbies and all the
Barbie.
Kens. And the Kens are saying hi to each other. And they go to hang out at the beach. And it's just like everything's perfect in this world.
I loved also that whenever we leave our house, we don't have to use the door. We just I don't know what she says exactly, but like when you want to go somewhere, you just pick them up and put them down.
Right.
And so they pick her up off of the roof of the house.
She just walks off the top of it.
Yeah, she steps off the top and then she just floats down and then her legs lift up and she slides perfectly into the car.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's what you do. You lift their legs up and you put them in the car.
Yeah, you can't, like, I remember trying to make a Barbie doll walk
Oh
and
my
they just
God,
start
their
to
backs-
fold in the middle or fold backwards. Yeah. And then they tell us a little bit about the
Man,
world.
I
and, like,
wish they would have put someone doing that. Like, walking really funny. One of the weird dolls doing that would have been hilarious.
I bet that was an idea they had, but they just didn't make it into the
Yeah.
script. But then we find out, like, there's they have all different races of Barbies in different
Mm-hmm.
shapes too, and like Issa Rae is President Barbie.
Yes.
And there's a really funny line where they go like, "Why are you so fabulous?" And she goes, "I just am."
Yeah.
Something like that, and then they laugh.
Oh, she said, no comment.
Oh, that's right.
And they start laughing and she goes, no, seriously, no comment. And then they all start laughing again.
Yeah, Issa Rae was great in this role too. I really liked her. She was a standout for me. And then they go to the beach, and this is where we're introduced to Ken.
Well, before we get into that, one of the things I noticed about all of the different ethnicities, there was some other Barbies that weren't Barbie. Like there was a midge who is a pregnant Barbie.
Oh, right.
And they literally made the comment of like, oh, she was discontinued because she was weird. Because I mean, people like to stick to the pretty streamlined dolls, the dolls that you can make them do anything. One of the best things about having Barbie dolls is, especially now, like I can't remember what year it was, but it was like, I want to say it was like 2012 or something, or maybe 14. But they added, it may have even been sooner, like closer to now than that. But they made Barbie dolls different sizes.
Yeah, I remember that.
Some of them have like pink hair. Like there's plus size Barbies. Granted, the plus size Barbies are not
They're like a
that
size
plus
9.
size. I would call them average, if anything. Because like my daughter has one of the plus size Barbies and she's not very big, but I would love to see even more of a range of sizes of Barbies. But I love that there were in this movie every single shape, every single size represented.
Mm-hmm.
Like there were plus size
Hold
women.
on, I didn't see like a paraplegic Barbie or anything.
There was a girl in a wheelchair.
Okay, I don't remember.
She was dancing.
Just kidding.
Anyways, but I appreciated that they were showing off a variety of Barbies in their sizes, because a lot of women are overlooked for their size, for their skin color.
Right.
And especially making sure that the President Barbie was a black Barbie. So like holding high positions of power. I'm not sure what race she was, but there was a woman of color who was she was like a brain surgeon or something.
I don't remember.
There was like some type of doctor, and she was this like fantastic doctor. There was like this crazy, like brilliant scientist and that they were a woman of color. And I really appreciated that they showed such a diversity in their casting with each Barbie.
Yeah, and that was definitely by design.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
So
that was
it
not an accident.
fantastic.
Anyway. Yeah, so they go to the beach, and everybody's hanging out at the beach because that's such a common theme in Barbies. And then we see there's all these guys named Ken, and there's one named Alan, played by Michael Cera, who is. I want to know more about that character.
Oh, yeah, he was
wasn't
a fun
Ken,
character.
he was an Alan.
Well, yeah, because there was a character, or there was a doll named Alan that was discontinued. He was only around one, like they only made like a round of him.
Okay.
And he was Ken's friend.
Okay.
Yeah. So they made Alan, but
Oh, that's so
that's
funny.
why there's
wa-
only one of him,
I
because
really
they didn't
want to
make
know
a lot of him.
what Mattel was thinking with that. Like, no, Ken needs a friend.
Well, I
no,
mean,
he doesn't.
later on they made like a variety of Kens that looked different.
Yeah,
like they
I
did
know
with
about that.
Barbies. But
But that movie also showcases that because there's all these Kens and they're all different ethnicities and shapes and sizes
Yes.
as well. But the main Ken that we're going to follow in the movie is played by Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling.
And he is obsessed with Barbie.
Yes.
And
very jealous.
Yeah, very jealous. The moment he's introduced, we know, like, yes, he is after Barbie and doesn't think or care about anything else.
Yeah, he only lives in the light of Barbie.
Yeah. And so he has a surfboard and he wants to show off and get Barbie's attention. So he tries to go and surf in the ocean, but it's plastic waves. So he hits it and bounces off. And everybody's like, oh, he's hurt. So they call an ambulance, but it's like a play set.
Yes. And I love that she lifted up in the play set. There's like a doctor that she's like the x-ray tech, or she's a doctor, and she lifts up and there's like a heart-shaped little like light, and she lifts up this little diagram. She's like, oh, your bone is broken, and she puts it down. It's just like a little piece of plastic. I loved that.
Yeah, the opening is all fan service.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I love that they're like, we're just going to get the fan service out of the way immediately.
Yeah.
Because like when we went to see the Super Mario movie, the whole movie was fan service.
Yeah.
It kind of ruined it because the story sucked because they were so busy trying to be like, okay, now they have Mario Karts.
Yeah.
You know, but in this, they just like, let's just get it all out of the way. And it's perfect. It's like the first 10 minutes of the movie is just fan service.
Yeah.
And they set up each character, right? And then they set up the animosity between the Kens because the Kens only exist for one purpose, and that's to get Barbie's attention.
Yeah.
So there's animosity between them. And then we get the beach off.
Yeah. I'm going to beach you off.
Yeah.
Nobody is going to beach anyone off.
Yeah. And then I don't remember exactly what happens, but then they have a big party at Barbie's house.
Well, so like he gets hurt and everything, and he goes, well, I was thinking of coming over tonight. And she goes,
Oh,
well,
right.
I'm having a party, so sure, yeah, absolutely, come by. We're going to have a whole dance number. And then they go to the house and they have this like huge dance number where you get to see you get to see even more Barbies.
Yeah.
And their party ended up having this huge dance number. And then the Kens are even trying to like grab her attention as much as they can. Something that was a little confusing was almost all of the Barbies always had a Ken that kind of corresponded with them.
Right.
But Margot Robbie, who plays the stereotypical Barbie,
Yeah.
she had two Kens that were always after her.
Oh, I don't know.
So I was like, oh, okay. Because if there's,
I don't think it was necessarily that they were after her. It's just like the Ryan Gosling's Ken was just really jealous that some other Ken might wind up with her.
yeah, but it seems like
But
there's other Barbies.
I know, but
There's other Barbies in the playhouse,
Yeah.
in the dream house.
Well, that's what we got to start saying instead of other fish in the sea. Look, man, there's other Barbies in the playhouse, dude.
In the dream house.
But the thing is, they set up like the dolls don't even know what an adult relationship is.
Yeah.
Because they're being played with by girls.
Little girls.
And they set that up when he's like, oh, I thought I could stay over tonight. And she's like, and do what? And he goes, I don't know. So I don't think they even really form relationships. I think they're just all hanging out in doll land together.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's good. I love it. I love the way they build out the world. I think they couldn't have done a better job.
Yeah.
I think they could have gotten lost in the weeds very easily, and they don't. So the party ends, and Ken leaves because they don't know what to do, even if he did stay over.
Well, Ken leaves
right.
because she's having girls' night.
Yeah, that's
it's
right.
Girls'
Girls'
night.
Yeah.
And all the other Barbies are at her house, and they're like, Barbie, come on.
But also, we're skipping over the big, like, this is the part that really kicks off the whole movie. They're dancing, and Barbie, Margot Robbie's Barbie says, does anybody ever think about dying?
Yeah.
And it just like
and everything
sucks.
freezes.
It's like a record scratch, you know.
I don't know what she says to get it kind of going back, but then they start dancing again.
Yeah, she's like, what I meant to say was, I'm having a deadly good time or something.
Or like, anyone think about, I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Anyways, so they like,
Hopefully
I'm
anybody
dying to
listening
dance.
Yeah.
And then they start dancing again. And then they have the night, the girls' night. You don't really see it. But the Ken leave, all the Kens leave. And then she goes to bed and she lays in bed and she's still saying like, I'm still thinking about death.
Well, she goes to bed and she announces like, I'm not thinking about dying anymore or something like that. And but then she says to herself like she is. Mm-hmm. But anyway, she wakes up the next morning and it's literally supposed to be a repeat
of the same exact day before.
Yeah, but nothing is going right. She burns her toast. Well, she falls off the roof of the house.
She wakes up and like I don't know what immediately. She wakes up and she's like got a headache or she's tired or like she didn't sleep well.
Yeah.
So she's having the worst day ever. The water's cold.
But my favorite part about the shower thing is that there's still not water coming out of it. But she's like, it's cold, and she's like fiddling with the knob.
I love also like she gets the waffle comes out, but it's burnt. And then the whipped cream falls on the floor.
Yeah.
And then she sits down, pours her milk, and then tries to drink it. And she's like, ugh! But nothing came out. And she looks at the milk carton that says expired.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're just hitting you over the head. It's like nothing is going correctly today. Yeah. And it's because she had thoughts of death.
Yeah. And she also, it hasn't happened yet. Never mind. She falls off her roof and then she goes to the beach again.
And she has flat feet too. Her feet
are
not flat.
That's what I was about to say. She takes her shoes off at the beach and then she steps in the sand and then she falls flat. So she doesn't have heel feet anymore. Heeled feet.
Yeah, whatever you call it. Barbie feet.
Yeah.
And then also, if you're someone who's into foot fetishes,
this is the movie for you.
The first 20 minutes of this movie is full of feet.
Yeah.
I'm not into feet. I don't think they're gross or anything, but I'm definitely not.
Yeah, same.
But there was a lot of like beauty shots of feet. Mm-hmm. And she asked her Barbie friends what she's going to do about her feet. And they're like, you have to go to the weird Barbie. Who is, they perfectly cast, Kate McKinnon.
Yes. That was fantastic. And they were like, why? I don't know why she's always in a split. And I was like, I do.
I know why. And her face is colored on and her hair has been chopped off.
Yeah.
And she lives in a weird house. And they say, oh, she got played with too hard.
Yeah. So any dolls that get messed up become weird dolls. And the weird dolls were because they were played with too hard.
Right.
So she goes to the weird Barbie's house and she's walking up the steps and I love this comment that she makes. She goes, if my feet were always flat, I would hate wearing these because heels suck.
Yeah, they certainly do. I mean, I don't know. I don't get it because regular shoes hurt my feet.
Yeah.
So I could never do heels. Yeah. Glad I'm not a woman.
But they're so cute.
They do look nice, but they are uncomfortable as all hell.
Yeah.
So she talks to Weird Barbie, and Weird Barbie's basically like, look, you opened up a rift. You and whoever's playing with you opened up a rift, and you have to go and investigate and figure out what happened.
Yeah.
And she's like, she does the Matrix thing.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, you can put your high heel back on, or you can put the flat shoe back on, and she holds up a Birkenstock.
Yeah.
And then Barbie...
She goes, you can go to the real world or you can stay in the Barbie world and ignore all of this.
And Barbie goes, I want to stay in the Barbie world.
And she goes, no, you got to choose the other.
Let's try this again.
And she keeps trying to like, the only option is the Birkenstock.
Yeah. But this movie, I didn't notice every single beat, but I think it's totally the hero's journey.
Oh, it is, absolutely.
Yeah, because there's in the hero's journey, there's 12 steps. Right, you have the normal world, and then you have like the villain shows up, and then you have a call to adventure, and you're supposed to refuse the call to adventure. So when she says, no, I want to stay in the Barbie world, that's her refusing the call. and then immediately accepting it.
Well,
right
because she
after.
has to.
Yeah, because she has to, because the movie can't keep going. But I'm sure that there was some other beats I noticed in the movie, but I don't even know all 12 beats. It's too hard to remember.
Yeah.
But anyway, she leaves in a little toy Corvette.
Yeah, because there's like a certain track you have to go. You have to like take a Corvette, then you have to take a boat, and then you have to take a spaceship, and then you have to take a snowmobile, then you have to roller skate in Venice Beach.
Yeah, you have to rollerblade to Venice Beach. It's so funny that Venice Beach is the portal
Yeah.
to the normal world. But it was really beautifully shot too. All the little
The paper, like plastic.
yeah, it was kind of Wes Anderson-ish a little bit, like because it
Oh,
was
and the camper was there too.
yeah, because it was very static shot, and then like it was like cardboard cutouts, like a pop-up book sort of. But it was really cool looking. Whoever designed that did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
And then they show up in Venice Beach, and they're like,
Well, in the car ride,
"Oh, I forgot about the car."
she's singing in the car, and then Ken pops up, and the car flips over.
Yeah, so weird.
I know. And he's like, I got to go with you. And she goes, well, did you bring your rollerblades? And he goes, I always bring them. And he pulls up his big yellow rollerblades. And he's like, I always have them with me.
Yeah. So she agrees to let him go. And you think, like, okay, this is going to be Barbie and Ken are going to go to the real world.
You also see that she's super reluctant. She's like, you're going to slow me down. I don't want you to go. And then she finally like, fine, whatever.
Right. But you think it's going to be like, okay, Barbie and Ken are about to go to the real world, and it's going to be this fish out of water comedy. And at first it kind of is, because they're rollerblading down Venice Beach, and they're decked out in like full neon, like triangle patterned
80s style.
Yeah, 80s,
rollerblade.
early 90s
I think that was like an
style.
actual Barbie doll outfit.
Oh, I'm sure it was. This movie is just full of like
Barbie outfits.
that just real outfits and real, like they went and
Real
looked at
accessories,
all
yeah.
these old things, and they're like, well, let's put this in.
The research was done very well.
Yeah. So they had access to all that because Mattel had to give them permission to do this. But yeah, I'm sure every outfit, every toy, everything was some real Barbie thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they go to Venice Beach, and Barbie is now being hit on by everybody. And Ken, something's happening to Ken. But I remember there was something like,
Oh, he's seeing like all of these buff guys like being like really rude to her, and she goes, everyone is staring at me. And he goes, everyone's also staring at me. And these guys are like, yeah, dude. And then everyone's like making really suggestive and rude comments to Barbie. But like someone like literally like gives him a knuckle. What is it called?
Yeah, but he says
Fist
something.
bumps.
He says something it was very real. It was like, he's like, yeah, everybody's looking at me, but it's not threatening at all. And
Yeah.
then Barbie says like, it feels that way to me. And I was
Yeah.
like, it's true. That's so true.
Yeah. And so they try to like go around, try to find someone to make her, she tries to find someone to make her feel like more comfortable. And she goes to this like construction site where all these guys are like yelling at her, and she's like, what? I guess all the women aren't there today, because she doesn't understand that men run the world yet.
Yeah.
She has this idea like, oh, like,
She thinks women have every job in this world.
because Barbie has fixed everything in the real world too.
Yeah.
So Barbie world isn't far off from the real world, but it's completely reversed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she goes up to the construction workers, and they're being like stereotypical construction workers and catcalling her and stuff like that. And then they both mention that they have no genitals.
Yeah.
Or she says they don't have genitals, but then Ken feels insecure, so he's like, I
definitely have genitals.
He says, I have all the genitals.
Yeah. yeah. I have all the
Because
genitals.
it's funny too, because it's like the gears are turning in his head, but he just doesn't even know what genitals are.
So he they escape somewhere, and she's like, we got to change because this is too much.
Yeah.
And they go to the shop, and then they come out, and they're dressed all in like cowboy kind of gear.
Yeah.
But
Which
she's
is probably also real Barbie.
probably, but she's in all pink and he's in like black and white.
Yeah. With like
Western.
tasseled.
Yeah. And he's like, I love this.
Yeah. They look like they're in a, like a Western from the 50s or 60s or something. And then they don't pay for the clothes because they don't
Have
understand
money.
currency or anything. Because there's no currency in doll world or whatever. So they get arrested. Mm-hmm. And then they get out. And then they immediately get arrested.
You know what?
Again.
Before she gets arrested, when they're skating, after she goes to the construction workers, some guy comes up and smacks her on the butt and she punches him.
Oh, right.
That's what first gets her arrested.
Right.
And then they leave there because they're getting her fingerprints and everything, which, does she have fingerprints, I wonder?
I don't know.
I would have loved for her to be like, it just be like circles.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been funny to see.
That would have been a fun gag. Or maybe she couldn't, like, separate her fingers or something. Yeah. So, yeah, that's how they get arrested the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And then they steal clothes by accident and immediately get arrested again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so they break out of jail. I don't know how they do.
I don't remember either. They get out somehow, but...
And then she's like, I just got to go sit on this park bench and try to figure out where I'm supposed to go. I got to find this little girl. Because she needs to find the little girl that's playing with her so that she can fix everything. So she, I guess...
Well, she has some sort of trance or something, and she can
Yes,
see what...
she's seeing little...
She see what the little girl is dealing with, and she feels the pain of it, and she starts to cry. And she sees an old lady sits down next to her, and she tells the old lady that she's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you can see that Barbie is like starting to understand the real world and like, oh, this is what having emotions are like, and that she kind of likes it even though she doesn't understand it.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a pretty great moment.
Yeah. That was a fantastic moment. And the woman that I've seen a lot of people saying that woman is Barbara Handler, but that's not her.
I don't know. Oh, Ruth's daughter?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's not her because she's way older. That's actually Anne Roth, who's the costume designer.
Oh, okay.
She's not the costume designer for Barbie. This is the first time she's ever appeared on screen. But she has done movies, Broadway, all kinds of stuff.
Given her age, she's probably been making costumes for like 40 plus years.
Yeah, so her first costume piece was in 1957 in theater, but then she broke out into doing movies in the 60s and 64. So she's done so much stuff. Like literally, if you look at her Wikipedia page, it's just chock full of all of the things she's done. She's won several awards. She's in costume design, but she's been in the industry for a really long time.
That's a cool Easter egg.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're interested in that, look that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we also find out Ken is he's starting to realize that this is a world that is run by men.
Yeah, because he's like, I'm gonna go walk away, and she's like, don't go too far. And so he starts walking around, and he sees like these corporate people. He sees like these guys in the gym, like helping each other work out, and he's just like, oh, okay, I understand. But the world is men.
Yeah. And Barbie has, in her little trance or whatever you want to call it, she sees Davy Crockett High School or elementary school?
High school.
High school. So she's like, oh, the girl that is playing with me is there. So they go to that school and tries to find her. And Ken goes off to the library to research being a man.
Yeah.
And she goes to find this girl, but this girl is very jaded and mean to her.
Yeah. She comes up, and this one kid steps in front of her. He's like, don't go talk to her. And she's like, no, I'm Barbie. It's fine. Like, they'll like me because everyone likes me. And he's like, I wouldn't do it. And so she's like, I've got this. So she goes and walks and talks to her, and she completely destroys her confidence.
Yeah, tears her down. And basically just says all the criticisms that people have said about Barbie over the years. And how it's ruined girls' self-esteem and stuff like that. So,
which I don't think Barbie really is ruined.
Yeah, but this whole the controversy around Barbie is a big part of this movie.
Oh no, absolutely. I'm not saying that the comment wasn't, but I'm just saying like that idea is not correct. Like is invalid. Like no, I'm saying that people say Barbie destroys kids' self-confidence and there's a self-esteem, but I don't really think she does. I think people just put that label on her.
I don't think so either.
That's what I'm saying. Is people put that label on her even though she doesn't.
I think she takes a lot more abuse than other things that
she gives.
Yeah. There's a lot more worse things in the media, I think.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So she leaves because she hurt her feelings so badly, and she's like crying. She leaves, and the kid goes, "I told you." And she sees Ken, and he comes out, and he has these like books about horses, and like I don't remember what else he had, but like all of these other things. And so she's like, "We got to go," and then we go to Mattel.
Right. Yeah, somewhere in there we go to Mattel.
I think after like the first or second police report, Mattel, like one of the guys at Mattel in the lower levels is like, "Oh my God, Barbie's out."
Well, the FBI calls him.
Oh, okay.
And says like one of the Barbies got out.
Yeah.
And then also we meet America Ferrera's character where she's like drawing Barbies.
Yeah.
And she works at Mattel, but she's like a secretary or a administrator. Or
she works on the top floor with her, like the boss is what is his name? CEO?
He's just Mattel CEO. Which is funny to me. Will Ferrell's character in this has no name. He's just referred to as the Mattel CEO. Because he's
Mr. Mattel CEO.
Mr. Mattel CEO, because he's such a hollow, horrible human being.
Yeah. So she works for him as his secretary, like in the front office or the front of the top floor. And this guy, Aaron, comes up and he's like, "I got to talk to them." And she goes, "I wouldn't go in there." Like, and he sees her drawings, and you see, I don't know if you notice, but it's all of the little the issues with Barbie that she's had. So like, there's like even a cellulite Barbie. There was
she was drawing
existential crisis Barbie.
Yeah, she was drawing
and there was even a Barbie in the cowgirl costume.
Oh, there was?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it's like a little hint. At some point I realized like, oh wait, she saw David Crockett at high school because she was dropping her daughter off.
Yeah.
That occurred to me at some point, which is good. That doesn't mean I'm smart. That means this movie is well written.
Yeah.
And that they gave you enough hints that you figured out on your own, and it makes the audience feel smart, even though it's by design. So, that was good. And then he goes in there, and Will Ferrell freaks out because they're like, "We've only had somebody get out of Barbie world once before." And
it was Skipper.
It was Skipper.
And whenever Skipper got loose, like, it was like in Miami or something like that.
I don't remember.
I don't remember what they said happened, but they were like, "This is worse because it's Barbie."
Yeah.
And they were like, "Barbie can make change."
Yeah. So then they go to the school where Ken and Barbie are, and they try to pick him up, but Ken gets away and makes it back to Barbie world. Right? Yeah.
And then he's like, I gotta take this back to the other Kens and show them what it's like.
Yeah.
And he goes back to Barbie World, and you see him going back to Barbie World.
Yeah, although the little
by himself
pop-up book, little things.
And then Mattel takes her to not the warehouse, but the company building.
Yeah, the Mattel headquarters.
Headquarters. That's what I was trying to think.
Right.
I couldn't think of words.
In there, they try to convince her to get back in the box.
Yeah.
To get in an actual Barbie box. And it's funny because she goes in there for a minute and they try to put those little bread ties around her arms.
And they're huge.
Yeah, they're huge.
I thought that was so funny. I loved that. And she was like, I haven't been in a box in a long time. She goes, oh, it even smells good or something like that. And then she's like having all these ideas, and then her hands are there. They're tightening them up, and she finally slips on. She's like, actually, I need to go to the bathroom. I need to make sure my hair looks good.
Right.
Because you can tell that she's like, I can't do this. Like, I still need to fix what's going on.
Yeah. So this is kind of like the part in Die Hard where John McClane is like, he stops running away from the quote unquote terrorist.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, I've got to start fighting back. So this is like a good midpoint in a movie. Barbie's like, no, I have to do something about this. I can't just ignore what's going on and go back to my perfect life.
Yeah. And also at the high school, when they're picking up Barbie, America Ferrera, who is the woman that works at Mattel as the secretary, she's picking up her daughter, which is the mean little girl.
Right.
That Barbie went and talked to. And she was like, oh, they're finally picking up that crazy lady. And she goes, and she realizes that is Barbie. She sees her and she's like, they were saying Barbie is out. That is her. She looks exactly like my drawings.
Right. So this is for the, the mouth breathers and the knuckle draggers, as my screenwriting professor would have said.
Yeah. And so she kind of follows them to the headquarters. And then they try to put Barbie in the box, and she goes to the bathroom, quote unquote, and escapes.
Right. And as she's running through the building trying to get out, she goes into a room.
The cubicle room?
Yeah. And there is a lady in there named Ruth, played by Rhea.
But before she does that, like they're running crisscross. They're trying to catch Barbie, and all of these men cannot catch Barbie, even though they're literally walking past her or running past her. I thought that was so funny. Literally, her and the CEO run into each other, and they just scream at each other and run the opposite direction.
I don't remember that part that well, but
and then she runs down the hall, and then she closes the door behind her, and then she goes into there's like this long hallway with a bunch of rooms, and she goes into this one room to try to hide from them, and that's where she meets Ruth.
Right. And I didn't pick up on the fact that this was supposed to be Barbie's creator. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I didn't know it, but I was like, this is the lady. I didn't know her name, but I was like, this is the lady that made Barbie, I bet.
Yeah.
But I was like, why is she in here?
Yeah. I was
like,
this is...
isn't she dead?
No, this isn't. I want to try to fit this into the 12 steps of the hero's journey, but I can't place it.
Well, something about later on in the movie, they say that Ruth's ghost has an office on one of the floors.
Yeah, because she's been dead. But I'm trying to think of where it fits into the hero's journey, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, I don't remember what she says to her though.
I don't really remember either, but it's kind of
she tells her how to escape the building.
Yeah, she tells her go through the closet. There's some stairs, and she goes straight out to the main floor.
Okay.
And so she exits out, and then America Ferrera's car is there. Right.
And then she's like, get in, because she's figured it out already.
Yeah. So she gets in the car, and they're driving around, and the Mattel guys can't even get out of the room because there's like those little, like Barbie jumps over top of the little, what is the little arm thing?
Oh, the not stylus, turnstile.
I guess
that's what they call.
But the guys are like, well, give me a card, give me one of your cards, and they're trying to get out.
Yeah, the Mattel CEO and all of his like executives are really stupid. There's a really great speech that Will Ferrell gives when she's like trying to get answers, and he's like, well, Mattel has been run by 2 women CEOs, and like he's like, I can't even remember their names, and then he's like, I'm the son of a mother and the nephew of an aunt. Yeah. And like you could tell it's just like trying to come up with this stupid speech off the top of his head, but he's really dumb. And he asked her to call her mother. Oh, here it is. Mattel CEO. I am the son of a mother and the nephew of a female aunt. Some of my best friends are Jewish.
Yeah.
I can't believe Mattel let them get away with this too. Like, it makes them look pretty bad. But. So they have a car chase.
Yeah, there's a car chase. America Ferrera gets out. And then you see they're kind of hiding at one point, and they realize there's like this like sequence, something happens, and they both realize, oh, America is the person that's playing with me, not the daughter.
Yeah, because she was feeling bad, and she's like, I used to feel good when I played with my Barbies.
And so I started playing with you again because I thought it would make me feel better.
Right.
And then they're like, well, and Barbie's like, well, we need to take you to Barbie Land.
Right.
I don't really know why.
I don't know either. I don't know why I think America Ferrera is like, we got to take you back because you don't belong here.
I think they were going to go tell everyone in Barbie. I don't know. I can't remember.
I don't know.
But she's like, how do I get there? And she goes, well, we got to rollerblade first. And so they start she was like, do you have rollerblades? And so they go get rollerblades, and then you meet her dad, the little girl's dad. And he's like learning Spanish.
They're like, what about dad? He's like, oh, he's fine. Like,
yeah.
I love that the dad is just a footnote in this.
Yeah. He'll be fine. And you see him sitting at home, and he's trying to like do like, what is that? Duolingo.
Yeah. He's like looking at a Spanish-English dictionary or something like that.
Oh, no, he's on his phone.
Oh, it was?
And he's like trying to say something, and then it goes ding. And I was like, that sounds like Duolingo, because I tried Duolingo at one point.
Oh.
And so they start rollerblading through Venice Beach, and then they snowmobile. They get on the camper. They go through space, and then they
wind up in.
Then they
Barbie.
do the boat, and then the daughter makes a funny comment of like, "How are our outfits changing?" Because every single time they change, they go to the next scene, like America and Barbie are like reminiscing.
And she mentions those fuzzy boots at some point.
Yeah, when they're on the
snowmobile.
Yeah, she was like, my mom had to buy a whole new Barbie so I could get these boots back because I lost them. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes, because I would buy new Barbies and I would lose her stuff, and I'd be like, I want that stuff back.
Yeah.
That's why I keep telling Juliet, put all of your Barbie stuff in one box.
She never will.
Yeah, she doesn't. She just throws it in with all her other stuff. She has a lot more accessories than I ever had, because I would
like
lose
they come
them
with more
so
accessories
fast.
now.
I don't think so. They come with a lot of accessories. When there were sometimes I would buy Barbies and it would come with 2 extra outfits.
Really?
So like I had a lot of accessories. I had a lot of clothes, and my grandma also would make me clothes, but I never had shoes because the shoes are so tiny they would get lost so quickly.
Yeah, and you'd chew on them too.
I didn't chew on the shoes. That's Polly Pockets.
Oh, okay.
Her clothes were squishy. I'm just kidding. I never chewed on them, but I know people that did.
Right. That's why I made the joke.
Yeah.
I wasn't saying you.
Knuckle dragger.
I wasn't saying you specifically chewed on the shoes. I was saying that's what people did.
Yeah. But they're going through changing outfits, and then they get to the car, and then they're driving back, and they see like horse heads as Mount Rushmore, and like there's all these things that are not right.
Because Ken beat them back to Barbie World, and
Yeah.
he started telling all the Kens about the patriarchy and what it's like in the human world where men run everything.
Yeah. But Barbie's like, this is not right. Like, I don't like this. And all the Kens have brainwashed all of the Barbies.
Right.
And so she goes to they go to the beach at first or something. Something happens there where like all these guys are really rude, and like they're like, let me get you a brewski. Like all the Barbies are getting everyone.
Yeah.
brewskis.
Now all of the Barbies are like waiting hand and foot on the Kens the way the Kens were at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
So the Kens went there and
the Barbie's like, we love this.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, you don't. No, this is not good. And then she's like, let's go to my house. We can change. And they go to her dream house, and it is now Ken's Mojo Jojo Casa house.
And he's like, I've taken over the house. He's dressed like super broy. He's got a fur coat on and like a Karate Kid thing on his head.
He's got like a bandana around his head that has lightning on it.
Yeah, and then he's got like a fanny pack that says Ken on it.
Oh no, it's a belt buckle that says Ken.
Oh.
Yeah.
But it's also in the Metallica font. I don't know if you noticed
that.
Yeah,
I didn't notice that, but yeah.
Yeah, also this movie Chevy is advertising in it because there's almost all the cars are Chevys in it, and he has one of those obnoxious looking Hummer electric vehicles out front.
Oh.
That he's just sitting on top of it talking to her at one point. And then she's like, Ken, you can't take my house. And he's like, I just did.
Yeah. And so all of the Kens have taken over. There's a new president because the president Barbie is like now waiting hand and foot for the president Ken.
Yeah.
But like she's like having this like really like she doesn't know what to do, and so she's like, we got to go to the weird Barbie's house, and she goes to the weird Barbies, and you can see that there's a couple other Barbies that aren't affected.
There's some discontinued Barbies that aren't affected.
Yeah, and she's like, well, what do we got to do? And Barbie kind of just gives up.
Yeah, Barbie just gets really depressed and gives up. And then I think America Ferrera and her daughter come up with a plan to...
Well, they're like, well, we can't do this. It's before that, because Barbie, like, goes out of the house. She sits down, and she's like, I can't do this. And she just lays over. And she goes, we don't even know how to get back. And you just do everything in reverse. And then they're like, okay, I guess we got to get in the Corvette and leave. So they're trying to leave.
Oh, that's right.
Also...
And then Alan is with them.
Well... Yeah, they're driving down the road and they're singing, and then Alan pops up, and then the car flips over again like they did in the beginning. But also, this whole time, after Barbie starts skating with America and her daughter, the Mattel people are right behind them, also going to Barbie Land.
Right, yeah.
And then you see these guys, all these Kens that are construction worker Kens, and they're building a wall, but they only know how to go vertical. And the Alan is just like, I'm tired of being here. I don't like it. The Kens are not good. And he's like, I just want to go normal. And they're like, well, we can't have Alan running around the real world. And he goes, Alan's escape all the time.
Yeah.
Nobody does anything.
Yeah, and he says that all of NSYNC was Alan's.
Yeah.
Even
I thought
that
was
one.
Hilarious.
And he says even that one, and I think he's talking about Justin Timberlake.
Even that one. Yeah.
Because I think like Justin Timberlake, he's talented, but like he is kind of a milquetoast guy.
Yeah. They all kind of are.
Well, they all are, but like even the one who became the most famous is still like, you're kind of boring, dude.
Yeah. But I loved that joke.
Yeah, it was really good.
Literally laughed so loud. Everyone else probably was like,
I would watch a whole Alan movie.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
that'd be good.
That was funny. And then so they get out of the car and they're like, "What are y'all doing over here?" And Alan's like, "Yo, you guys gotta go." And he was like beaching them off.
Yeah. Like Alan can kick ass.
Yeah.
So he's like beating up all of these construction workers. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's when America Ferrera and her daughter decide to go back.
Yeah, they're like, we got to go back. Or her daughter kind of convinces her, like, we got to go back and got to fix this. And then you see this like over the top of the sky. You see Kendom.
Yeah, Kendom.
And then they turn around and Alan's like, where y'all going? And they're like, we got to fix it. And he's like, oh my God, no. So they go back and then they take him. They go pick up Barbie and then they take her to the weird Barbie's houses.
Right. And that's where they devise a plan where they're like, oh, we're going to take each Barbie one by one and reveal what the reality of the real world is. so that they can understand
Their role.
not just their role, but like the Barbies need to understand the psychology of real world men so that they know how to manipulate the real world.
Yeah.
Because Ken, if you think about it, he is just taking like, he was in the real world for like half a day.
Yeah.
So he is still operating on like the Dunning-Kruger effect. Like he thinks he's an expert, but he's really not.
Yeah.
So they have to teach the Barbies the reality of the world that they're now dealing with.
Yeah. So every time there's this one Barbie that's kind of that was brainwashed, and they have her there, and the stereotypical Barbie is like laying on the floor crying, and America's like, listen, this is what the patriarchy is. You're never good enough. You're either too fat or you're too skinny. But you got to be healthy, and you can't eat too much, and you got like all of these like patriarchy stereotypes.
Yeah, she presents all the catch-22s of being a woman.
Yeah.
Like how you can just never be right no matter what you do.
And then the Barbie that was brainwashed that was there that they were trying to fix, she's like, she comes to and she's like, whoa, yeah, I was a doctor. Or no, she was a Nobel Peace Prize winner or something like that. She was a prize-winning author. And so she makes this realization, and everyone in the room is like, oh, that's what we got to do. And they were like, America, that's not her name in the movie. I don't know what her name in the movie is, but you have to fix this. We're going to go grab every single Barbie and we're going to fix their brains.
Like basically deprogram them.
Yeah.
And then they come up with this idea. They're gonna all like pretend to still be interested in the Kens, but then start to be interested in other Kens, so that the Kens turn against each other because of jealousy. Out of jealousy, and then
so there's a montage of all of the not brainwashed Barbies anymore going up to Kens and being like, "Oh, hey, I don't know anything about Godfather. Can you can you turn on Godfather and just explain it to me the whole entire movie?"
When that Godfather scene came on, I was like, "Oh my god, that's the stupid podcast." Like, that's what this whole podcast is. Like, you haven't seen this action movie? Sit down. I'm going to make you watch it, and then we're going to talk about it.
And then what was some of the other ones? They were really funny. They were really great.
Yeah, there was a lot of great scenarios, and it's really is true. This is like, there's so many stand-up bits.
Yeah.
Like, women comics like having stand-up bits like that. Like, I remember hearing one, and it was this girl is like saying she's having trouble meeting a guy at a party, and one of them is like, just whisper. She was like, just say out loud you've never seen Die Hard.
Yeah.
And then it shows them like at the beach, and all the Kens have guitars, and they're singing that Matchbox 20 to them to them, like,
I wanna push you around.
Well, I will.
Well, I will.
And and then like they're all in a big horseshoe on the beach.
Yeah.
And then all the Barbies start to pretend to be interested in a different
Other
Ken.
Kens.
And it works. And then
they all get super jealous.
Yeah, like Ryan Gosling's with a bunch of Kens, and he's like, we're going to go to war with these Kens. And then they're like, how do we know the other Kens from the other Kens?
And he goes, well, we'll call ourselves Kens. And he was like, but they're also called Ken.
Yeah. And then they're like, what are we going to use for weapons? Like tennis rackets and tennis balls.
Yeah.
Because all they have is the toys to play with.
Yeah. They all have the accessories. They're like, we don't have any weapons.
Yeah. So there's a big battle on the beach between all the Kens. And while that's going on, the Barbies take back their houses and re-sign the Constitution and all that. Yeah,
because the reason that they had to turn all the Kens is because they were about to re-sign the Constitution and make it kingdom.
Right.
And so they were like, we gotta get this done before they sign that contract. So they did all of this, and the Kens have this wonderful song.
Oh yeah.
I am Ken. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, they have a big like Busby Berkeley's sort of musical number.
It was fantastic.
And yeah, all their outfits change, the set changes, everything, and it's out of nowhere, but it somehow makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And it's like all of them sort of commiserating on the fact like they're all just Kens.
Yeah. The Mattel guys are coming through and they're like, "Wait, what is happening?" And they saw also through this whole thing, the Mattel CEO gets a call and they're like, these Mojo Jojo Casa houses,
they're selling like crazy.
They're selling like crazy. And like you see this warehouse full of like all these like dream houses turned Mojo Dojo Casa houses. It's really funny.
Yeah.
Because you see all of the things that were happening in the Barbie world were affecting the Mattel world.
Right. Yeah. And it was kind of a funny, like, Family Guy sort of cutscene to the warehouse of them selling Mojo Dojo Casa House. It's pretty great. So there's, it goes back to Barbie's dream house, and they're still decorated like Kingdom, and you've got the Mattel people there. Like, just every character of the whole movie is pretty much there.
Yeah.
And like, Ken is now upset, and he's like, "Look, I didn't even like being the patriarchy. Once I found out that the horses weren't really a part of it, I sort of lost interest."
Yeah.
And he's like, "But the truth is, like, I don't like the fact that you never paid any attention to me, and I'm just like,
I'm nothing without you.
Yeah, I'm nothing without you, and my whole life is just to like grovel at your feet." And he's like, "I'm gonna become, I'm gonna do my own thing." And he's wearing a shirt that says, "I'm Ken enough."
I'm Ken enough.
Ken enough.
But also I want to read the lyrics to the Ken song.
Okay.
Just some of them. It goes, "I'm just Ken. Anywhere else, I'd be a 10." Saying like, in this world, I'm nothing. But if I was in the real world, I'd be hot as shit. It's my destiny to live and die. And life of blonde fragility. I'm just Ken, where I see love. She sees a friend. What will it take for her to see the man behind the tan and fight for me? I'm just Ken, and I'm enough. And I'm great at doing stuff.
Right.
I just love those lyrics. The lyrics in all of the songs were fantastic.
We've wrapped up Ken's story here, and he no longer feels like his life is just fully attached to Barbie. And they mentioned that, the Kens will start to work on, being equal in the Barbie world too. And I thought for a second, I was like, maybe they'll just start Ken World that's next to Barbie World, but they don't do that.
Yeah.
And then Ruth shows up. Because Barbie still has her existential crisis.
Yeah. Barbie's like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, because she's like, I'm just stereotypical Barbie. I don't have a thing.
Right.
I'm just Barbie. And Ruth comes up and kind of talks to her, and she's like, I mean, you represent everything a woman can be. And then there's this montage. This montage made me cry a little bit. It was beautiful. It was like all of the things. It was like all women. It was mostly women. May have been a man in there, but it was like women and children, like little girls playing, just doing life, and like just seeing the joy that life has. I don't really know what the message exactly behind that was, but to me, it felt like this is showing Barbie, like, you have so many options in the world. If you want to go to the real world, you can enjoy all of these things, but there's also sorrow that comes along with it. There's tough parts. And she decides to go to the real world. Yeah.
She asked her, like, I want to become human. And she's like, you don't have to ask me to be human. It's like, you do what you want.
Yeah.
Like,
you're
that's
Barbie.
the whole idea of Barbie. the log line for Barbie is like you can be anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you don't ask for permission. You just do it.
Yeah.
Right. So she decides to go to the real world, and it's a very touching moment with Rhea Perlman from Cheers. It's such the opposite of her character on Cheers, because she was like a real hard ass on that
Was
show.
it the Ruth lady?
Yeah.
I think of her from Matilda, which was also her being a hard ass.
Yeah. I forgot she was in that. But then it's America Ferrera, her daughter, and Barbie are in a car, like in some downtown area, probably LA. And she's dressed nice. And they're in front of a building, and she's like, okay, this is it. And you're like, oh, what's going on? It's like, is she here for a big job interview?
Yeah. You don't know what to expect. Also, I love that her husband is like now trying to speak Spanish, and he goes, "Si se puede," which is, if you know anything about Disney movies or anything like, okay, so America Ferrera was in a movie called Pump It Up, and literally the line, it literally means we can do this. Si se puede. And they would say it over and over again. And I thought that was hilarious that they put that line in there. I was like, yes, I needed that. I don't know if anyone else gets it, but I get it. And I appreciated it. So, and she was like, that's more of a political statement.
Yeah, her daughter goes, Dad, that's cultural appropriation or something like that. I didn't get the joke at all, but I thought it was. I was like, is that some? Because I know Spanish pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Not pretty well. I don't know Spanish at all.
Yes, we can.
I took a lot of Spanish in college, and I was like, he said, like literally translated to it's we are able to.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, it must be some like feminist statement or something like that when she said that's appropriation. But no, I didn't get the joke directly like you did. And then Barbie goes in this building, and she goes up to the counter, and they're like, can we help you? Or where she goes, yes, I'm Barbara Handler, and I'm here to see my gynecologist.
Yeah, which is so unexpected and makes us understand she has a vagina now.
Yeah, she's a vagina haver.
Yay! Welcome to the horrible worlds of having a vagina.
But I think that was probably one of the best like blackout lines to any movie I've ever heard, because she says, I'm here to see my gynecologist. Credits.
Yeah, it was really funny and fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's the movie. Erin, since you're the woman in this podcast, I'm going to ask you first.
The vagina haver?
A vagina haver. What is your no bullshit assessment?
My no bullshit assessment of this movie is go see it as soon as you can. It is fucking fantastic. It's hilarious. If you've ever played with a Barbie doll ever in your life, go watch the movie. If you had anyone in your life that played with Barbie dolls, go watch the movie. It's really funny. It's got a really great, there's lots of messages that you can take away from this movie. And they're all great. They're all of the social commentary is positive. There's not one thing in there that I'm like, oh, that's a little iffy.
Yeah.
It's all really great quality. It's a fantastic movie. If you have younger siblings they do talk about vaginas or like genitals, but they don't really like show anything. It's very PG-13.
It should have gotten a PG rating.
It should have got a PG rating.
There's not even like, there's no shit or fuck in it.
Yeah, there's no curse words.
No. I really think it should have got a PG rating. Anyway, go on with your bullshit
I absolutely, I want to watch it again.
Yeah, me too.
And I want to see what other things I missed, or the parts where I'm like, wait, what happened in this moment? Because maybe there's something more to it than just.
Yeah. I just want to know more about this
level.
movie, period, because I'm a fan of the industry. I don't know if they still do this anymore, but when I worked at Blockbuster, I used to rent DVDs just because they had a commentary track on it from the director. And you could hear the director just explain every scene, like how they came up with the ideas, it got cut, whatever. And I would love to hear a commentary of Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach just talking about coming up with the ideas and what they were thinking about and like what social commentaries they wanted to focus in the film.
Yeah, that would be freaking awesome.
Yeah, I would love that.
Can we petition to these two to make a director's commentary movie of this? Because that would be so freaking awesome.
I bet they will. I bet the Blu-ray for this is going to have just be loaded with special features.
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Because, I mean, you can already see how well it's done at the box office. They're probably expecting to make a lot of money off of Blu-ray sales, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely want to buy it.
Okay. We'll get it.
Especially if there's lots of special features.
My no bullshit assessment of this movie is it was great the whole way through. Everything from like the 2001 Space Odyssey reference to the social commentary to the way it looked, the way it was acted. Everything is so on point. The script is super tight. At one point, you think like everything is just about to go completely out of control towards the end of the movie, but they pull it back together and give it a really great, concise ending with a funny line at it at the end. Anybody can watch this movie. If you don't like this movie, you're just a cynical person, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You're one of those angry conservative commentators who are just using this as some sort of agenda to get you to vote for Trump. I actually went to the subreddit conservative and I searched Barbie to see what conservative people were saying about it. And even they were like, look, it's not as bad as they're saying.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, okay, good. But also my favorite thing about this movie was when Barbie was in the human world and she was feeling awful feelings, it was kind of like they were saying, look, how can you know what true happiness is if you've never felt sad?
Yeah.
You know, how can you feel good if you don't know what it's like to feel bad? How can you know what a truly a good relationship is if you've never had a bad relationship or you've never had any hardship in your life? Can you really know what true happiness is?
Yeah.
You think about like people who grew up wealthy and their parents just buy them whatever, and anytime they get in trouble, they just get bailed out.
Yeah.
I mean, do those people ever truly get to live? I don't think so.
No.
So I think that's a lot about what this movie is about. And it's about being an individual versus someone who just has to conform to everything. And maybe what you think is what you really want in life is not what's best for you.
Yeah.
Especially from Ken's perspective.
Yeah.
Right? So I thought it was great, and everybody should see it.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right.
That's...
So we didn't come up with a game for this, but we're running way over time. So.
Well, we have a little kitty corner that we should probably play at the end.
No, I was going to put it at the top.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. But we went overtime talking about this, so we're not going to play a game. So
yeah.
If you want to write into us and tell us what you thought about the Barbie movie, what Barbie means to you, anything like that, joeyanderinpod at gmail.com.
JOEYANDERIN POD at gmail.com.
At gmail.com. The symbol for at.
Yeah. Ampersand.
That's not an ampersand. Ampersand is and.
What is the at symbol?
I don't know.
What is the at symbol called? Hey, message us and tell us what the at symbol is called. That's it for us on We Haven't Seen It.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
See you
Bye, Barbie.
See you next week for Devil Wears Prada.